Congratulations! You've just been promoted to management. This might be your first crack at leading others, or just the first time you're doing it at your current organization. Either way, there's something valuable here for everyone. We at Cloverleaf are super passionate about supporting people and teams to maximize their potential. In this series, we'll be exploring the language of leadership. We'll be making the clear distinction between being a boss versus being a coach. We'll be covering everything from building trust with your team to managing performance and everything in between. So stay tuned, we've got some super practical strategies you can use right away to crush it in your new leadership role. Now, when I say coach, you may ask, what sport? But coaching in the workplace is an art rather than a sport. Leaders who coach support their team members by seeking to empower each person to maximize their potential. Well, what does that actually mean? Coaching is about asking more than you tell. It's about trusting that the people you lead have within each of them the ability to learn, grow, and elevate their performance. It also means that you talk less. The best way to learn about coaching is within language. Now imagine you have a direct report who comes to you and expresses the desire to hold a leadership position within your company. Now, don't be scared they're going to take your job. A boss might say, well, let me tell you about the best way to do that and how I did it. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's frankly all about you, not them. A leader coming from a coaching mindset might respond with some questions for the person to consider. What do you think is your biggest strength right now that would help you achieve this goal? What do you think is your biggest obstacle in achieving this goal? How can I support you in preparing to achieve this goal? Now, it might be tempting to go the first route, and the person might even want you to give them all the answers. But when you switch to that coaching mindset, just with a few questions, this is where you speak to that person's potential to help them envision their own goal. When people own their results and the path it took to get there, it infuses them with motivation, energy, and inspiration. So instead of sharing your own greatest hits, help them create their own. Great job! Thanks a bunch. What is this mistake you made? These phrases are not feedback. Giving feedback to your direct reports is one of the most important and frequent things you'll be called on to do as a new manager. Let's face it, it's probably the constructive feedback that causes us the most discomfort. Your first step is to breathe. It's really about what you say and how you say it. Coming from a boss approach might sound something like, we need to talk. Can you explain to me what you were thinking with all these mistakes on that report? I mean, if your manager came to you with that could easily throw you off your game. Watch how a slight coaching mindset and a shift in language can sound dramatically different. I know that the most recent report you were working on was pretty complex. There were some mistakes made that I want to be able to go over with you. Can you help me understand how you arrived at some of the conclusions? We've taken out the scary, we need to talk. You're also seeking to understand rather than reprimand. People are going to make mistakes. When a mistake becomes a pattern, well, that's a whole other video. But I think you get the picture. Beyond giving feedback, there are some conversations that might be super awkward or even downright unpleasant to have with direct reports. Avoiding difficult conversations or conflict is a recipe for disaster. Now, let's navigate those cringeworthy moments of difficult conversations. A coach approach might use the tried and true sandwich approach. That's something good in the middle with the unfortunate stuff holding it together. Now, if you're limiting carbs, this can be a lettuce wrap. I know you have a strong desire to contribute to the team, but there seems to be a pattern of struggling with collaboration. The blow-up between you and Sarah at yesterday's meeting really can't happen again. What could you have done differently when you disagreed with Sarah's idea? You still tell the whole truth with the ultimate respect for the other individual. I promise you, once you get some practice with these dicey moments, you'll be a pro. Let's get one critical thing straight. Performance management is not about ratings or filling out forms or even just raises. Managing performance is an ongoing process that should be ever present in your relationships with everyone you lead. Every organization manages performance differently with different goal-setting practices and ways to measure success. A boss mindset focuses on details and checking boxes. Performance might not even get managed in a conversation. Might get an email that says, send me your progress on your quarterly goals by the end of the week. Short and sweet. When we adopt a coach mindset, it might sound like, I'd love to hear about your progress on your quarterly goals. What's working well? What do you need support with? What are you learning so far from the goals that you set? Why does this difference matter? When people feel that their goals matter, that their development and success matters, they're going to be engaged, productive, and dare we say it, happy. This is not just about being nice, it's about being authentically interested in the success of other people. Remember, your team's success is your success, so coach it up.
Automated microcoaching have many advantages. The great thing to note is that they're not mutually exclusive from traditional coaching. You can have a layered approach where you have a traditional coach and automated microcoaching. But some of those advantages of automated microcoaching include cost effective, right? You're not paying an hourly rate for a more traditional coach. Second is you get wider coverage. It's not just focused on you, but it's focused on your entire team. And you're all using the same technology with the same platform, using the same language. The other is it's time efficient. You don't have to have a scheduled time block to meet with a traditional coach. And it's actually being brought to you just in time in the tools that you're using. So in the flow of work, not taking you out of the flow of work to get that more traditional development opportunity.
Being a good manager is hard enough, but when you're working virtually with your team, it can be really challenging. There's two very prominent forms of leadership. There's transactional leadership and transformational leadership. Transaction is a quid pro quo. Transformational leadership is about engaging in inspirational motivation and intellectual stimulation. The problem is that when we're working virtually, we tend to revert back to this concept of transactional leadership because all it is these quick virtual exchanges with your team members. What we really need to focus on is being a transformational leader, continuing to build trust, rapport, and a real familiarity and understanding for what your employee really needs within these virtual environments. I once brought in an executive of a Fortune 500 company to talk with a bunch of my executive students. One of the students asked a question that really resonated. He asked, what does the ideal leader look like within the 21st century? And the response was that the fake it till you make it era is officially over. In today's environment, there's just way too much volatility, uncertainty, complexity, all the crises and challenges that we faced. It is almost impossible to assume that you know everything. Instead, what we really need in today's day and age is the recognition that, yes, we need to be competent and confident in what we're saying, but at the same time, we need to be comfortable asking questions, admitting mistakes, and being transparent about what we know and what we don't know. Fake it till you make it is over with. It's all about being humble and transparent.